Attention please. This uploading is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. Follow us.
With this video, whispers about Chupacabra became headline news in Texas.
There were people calling from all over the world, and everybody wanted to talk to us about what we saw. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I would say that I'm a believer that this creature exists. When I'm on patrol late at night, I do a lot of things differently. I look closely at what's around me. I'm a little bit more willing to accept there's a possibility that other things exist.
113, Charlie to Central. All clear.
The Chupacabra exists.
Even with the video evidence, questions remain. How is the craven creature in Texas related to the infamous Chupacabra seen decades earlier? In this version, the monster moves on two legs. Its back is covered in sharp spines. There's a large alien-like head and huge glowing eyes. Its feeding habits are downright disgusting.
This thing grabs the animal. It has a anteater-like tongue that goes into one of these puncture wounds from the claws, somehow searches through the body and extracts strips of organs. The bizarreness of the entire thing is way more interesting than the idea of a vampire sucking blood out of an animal. It's totally unheard of, completely.
This Chupacabra first gained notoriety in Puerto Rico.
That's thought to be the heart center of the Chupacabra activity. This Chupacabra, for the people that have witnessed it, is probably the single most terrifying thing they've ever seen in their life.
In March of 1995 in Puerto Rico, a string of savage attacks on livestock rocked the island. More than 150 farm animals were found dead, with baffling puncture wounds, the bodies typically drained of blood.
I heard about it enough times to figure there must be something to this story. Then I got the opportunity to go on a, quote, expedition to Puerto Rico in search of this thing.
February of 1996, Joe Palermo began interviewing Puerto Rican officials and residents.
It's exactly about 6 months ago that the complaints started coming from all over the place here. Farmers were complaining about the so many animals that appear to be killed by this creature.
A local woman heard the Chupacabra screeching on her roof.
My sister, don't open the window because the Chupacabra is into el techo.
Then this woman saw the creature in her yard one night.
And the eyes were lit.
Madeline Tolentino was looking out her window when a Chupacabra attacked a young boy on a bike.
Reenactment. The boy stops to drink from a bottle.
The boy noticed a strange animal hunched over a chicken.
The animal has a spiny head. The boy drops his bottle and starts to back away. He leaves his bike and runs off. A scaly, clawed foot steps on the bike. Palm trees flutter in a nighttime breeze.
While the sightings in Puerto Rico faded, a few years later, rumors about the Chupacabra emerged in Cuero, Texas. The Lone Star variety is physically distinct, a sort of skulking, deformed coyote with its large fangs, glowing eyes, and predilection for blood. Locals in Texas are convinced it's the goatsucker.
Is this animal actually licking the blood out of the chickens?
Dr. Phyllis Canyon not only saw this creature around her ranch, For the first time ever, she recovered its body.
It was so close, I thought all this thing has to do is lurch to me, and I could be history.
She crouches in the dark to peer at the creature. Monsters and mysteries. Nighttime. Traffic on a street in Cuero.
In Cuero, Texas, residents are convinced the mythical chupacabra stalks their town. It kills their livestock, drains the blood, then vanishes.
I never want to encounter a chupacabra, ever. That's disgusting, it's nasty, it's gory.
Dr. Phyllis Canyon isn't used to trading in rumor or superstition. She's a certified nutritionist, runs a clinic, and a busy 250-acre ranch.
Steve and I, my husband of 35 years, we live on this ranch. We are very outdoorsy, so for us it gives us an avenue to be out in the wild. That's why we like it here so much.
When Phyllis heard rumblings about the chupacabra, she wanted to dismiss them as rumors. Only there was evidence she couldn't ignore.
And I started observing different tracks. This track had a different paw print than anything that I had ever seen. A coyote and a wolf are a very definitive forepaw, and this one only had 3. And so for me, that was my first realization that there was something different on the ranch.
Sunset behind large cacti. The shadow of a clawed hand in a hen house. Chickens run about. The clawed hand grabs a chicken. Sunrise behind a strand of barbed wire.
One morning just after sunrise, she went to check on her chickens.
Reenactment. She finds bloody chickens' bodies scattered on the ground.
The door to the coop was ripped open. Many birds were dead.
Whatever animal it was that came in and did it, tore a small opening into the chicken pen, reached in, grabbed it, pulled part of the chicken out, opened it up, drank the blood, licked the blood out of it. It was obviously not interested in the meat, and that's why the carcass was left.
This level-headed rancher was now worried. Whatever it is might come back for more.
To see it once could have been a coincidence, but it was a pattern that became repeated until I lost 29 chickens over about a year period. It did not take me long to figure out that it was definitely craving just the blood. That in itself became an eerie thought to me. What is it that just wants the blood?
Finally, one night, Dr. Canyon got close to the creature.
Reenactment. It's dark. She creeps out of the barn.
And to think that I am walking in unprotected, not knowing if this creature was vicious or if this creature is sick. You got to be careful coming in at night because this thing could jump out of the tree or jump on you from behind a building.
She crouches to peer into the undergrowth. She leaps back when a snarling creature with fangs bared appears in the bushes.
I was awestruck, honestly. I was awestruck. Here is the most bizarre creature that I have ever seen in my entire life. The proximity that I was to it was so close, I thought all this thing has to do is lurch to me, and I could be history.
Could this be the mythical chupacabra she'd been hearing about? On July 14th, 2007, Dr. Canyon finally got solid physical evidence. An actual body.
Saturday morning, very early, about 6:45, I got a call that said that it was dead in the middle of the road. So I promptly went to the highway in front of our ranch, and there it was, right in the middle.
A monster rarely turns up as a corpse. Dr. Canyon moved the creature into her freezer to preserve it.
There were a million things going through my mind because I was so excited to get back and actually have it where I could touch the animal, where I could physically do an exam on it in my possession. And the excitement was overwhelming. I will never forget that day, ever. When word got out that I had it in the freezer, we had people try to break in. So we moved it to a secret location for 9 months off of this property in safekeeping. And whenever I needed it, I would go there and get it and bring it back here. No one knew where the animal was because I could not risk that animal being stolen before I had a chance to do all the DNA and the research on it that I wanted to do on it.
With this flesh and blood specimen in hand, Dr. Kenyon's focus turned to science.
So after all the months of having it, we sent it off to the best place to do forensics DNA on it. The result came back that this is not a coyote, and it's not a wolf, and it's not a dog. This is something different. So now, do we have DNA on a chupacabra? Maybe we do. And Cuero is home to it.
Dr. Kenyon sent the animal's body to a taxidermist to preserve it. Despite what anyone else may say or believe, she's on a mission to prove to the world she's finally captured the chupacabra.
We find it fascinating that in Cuero, Texas, there is this animal that we call the chupacabra that has been known as the mythical animal forever. So now having conclusive evidence that it is truly something different, I love it.
Satellite image of the U.S.
Coming up, a young couple's encounter transports them to a different time and place, where the dead come alive.
I thought, wow, like, am I really seeing that? It was like there were the walking dead surrounding us. The adrenaline was just pumping, my heart was just racing. I was terrified.
Monsters and mysteries,